Hello everyone, and I hope you're all doing very well. Today we're in the FA-18C Hornet. It's April 2021 and we've had the third of the AGM-88C HARM modes, PB or pre-briefed. So a quick reminder, if we go air to ground, we go HARM, SPTOO-PB, self-protect, target of opportunity and pre-brief. Self-protect and target of opportunity require the SAM to be emitting before we launch. We'll lock the HARM onto the SAM signal and then launch it. Pre-briefed, we do not have to have the SAM emitting. It can be completely cold. We can still fire it onto the rough area of the SAM, and then as long as it turns its radar on while the missile is still traveling, the HARM can lock onto it and take it down. SP and TOO do not require waypoints to fire at. Pre-briefed does require a waypoint to fire at, and that waypoint has to be relatively close to the suspected position of the SAM. In our roleplay today, just to keep it super simple, we've just gone for easy mode. So if I just put SA page, about 40 miles on the nose, we've got a SA6 on that island, we've got an SA3 suite on that island. So first, let's take out the SA3, which is within a couple of miles of waypoint 1. HARM is already selected, it's ready, we've got station 8 selected, choose pre-briefed. We have two pull-up modes that we can use, aircraft or HARM. As you know, the trajectory of the HARM is that you fire it and it lofts and then dives down on the target. It does that because it's the most efficient way to get maximum range. With AC, our aircraft will do the pull-up to the initial loft angle. With HARM, the aircraft will fire the missile when it's straight and level, and the HARM will pitch up itself to the desired loft angle. As you might imagine, you're going to get a bit more range out of the aircraft pull-up because a lot of the work's being done by the aircraft. Pre-brief works differently to the other two in that we have to tell the HARM the specific SAM radar that we want it to go for. For that we have, and I'll show on the screen here, our AGM-88C DED ID list. Each possible SAM radar threat is shown, and if you look at the DED code next to it, that's what we're going to program into the HARM missile. To do that, we're going to press UFC, target. The first one we're going for is an SA3 suite. This will have a P19 radar, and if we look up on a list, you can see a P19 is a DED of 122. 122, enter. Programmed into station 8 HARM is target 122. P19 radar. That's the HARM set up and ready to go. Now we need to select the target. So, waypoint 1, waypoint designate. Once we've done that, we're going to get symbology on the HUD and extra symbology on the HARM page. So, HARM page, aircraft pull-up is selected, and we're in range. If we weren't in range, it would not say RNG. Flight times. The top one is the time in minutes and seconds of our aircraft at current parameters until we overfly waypoint 1. This one here is the same thing but for the missile. It's currently the same amount of time because we haven't actually fired the missile, and this is the time difference. Up on the HUD we can see that we have aircraft pull-up selected, we are in range, we have the HARM selected, and the target / waypoint is 37 miles away. The target diamond there, in relation to that, a plumb line, ASL, azimuth steering line. The idea is to keep our velocity vector, which just so happens is already in line with it, but to keep our velocity vector in line with the ASL at all times until the missile is deployed. These two chevrons here are a no factor if we're using the aircraft pull-up method. This vertical line here is important in that once we are within range, we will press and hold weapon release. We will pull up until the velocity vector here reaches the level line here, at which point the missile will fire. At that point we can turn away into safety. Let's go and get that done. And pause, press and hold weapon release. We go. So HARM away. At this point it's obviously a fire and forget weapon. We can level out, we can turn away from the threat. Obviously it's no threat in this simple tutorial, but you're much more likely to be fighting Patriots or SA-10s. Now if we look at our HARM page, you can see our time for our aircraft to get to the target is staying relatively high because it's going to take a long time for me to get there, but the time of flight of the missile is much less and the difference is growing. So currently the missile will get to the target 30 plus seconds ahead of us. On its way down, it's turned its sensor on, it's now listening for the SAM. So as long as the SAM has turned its radar on by now, then it will be tracking. And it's going to be a dead P19. Boomy. Okay, let's repeat the process but with the other pull-up method. So, station 2 is automatically selected. HARM pull-up method. This time we're going to go for the SA6 at waypoint 2, so we need a different target. Let's go to our DED list, and we've got 108 for the SA6 search track radar. HARM's programmed and ready to go. We're going to waypoint 2, waypoint designate, unpause. I'm going to steer the velocity vector to the ASL again. Symbology is going to be used slightly differently in that this time we've got HARM pull-up method. We're in range, HARM selected. We're going to ignore the straight line this time and use these two chevrons. All we've got to do is position our velocity vector here on the ASL and keep it between the two chevrons. When we're ready to fire, just press weapon release, the missile will fire and loft itself. So unpause, get the velocity vector in position and fire. Go straight, it's up. We can turn away from the target. We can watch our times and speed up. Remember, these are estimated times, then they won't be completely accurate. 30 seconds to go. Watch the missile. Hopefully the SA6 has turned its transmitter on now. Boom. That's an overview of the pre-brief mode with aircraft and HARM pull-up. I hope that was useful, and see you later.